All right. Good day, everyone. Um, I just wanted to talk a little bit about something that kind of caught my eye at a trade show last week. Um, I go to a lot of trade shows. Like, I go to, I don't want to say every trade show around the region because it's not every trade show, but I go to almost every trade show that comes through Saigon Convention Center. I go to all trade specific to my trade shows all over the Southeast Asia region as well as the U.S. and Middle East. Um, Needless to say, I've been to a lot of trade shows. I've exhibited at a lot of trade shows. I've attended a lot of trade shows, and a lot of trade shows from different sectors that I'm interested in. That I'm always looking for some kind of niche, or just to even educate myself on new trending technologies and things like that. And I went to the uh, electrical and electronic show at Saigon Convention Center last week, and a lot of times it's a lot of the same stuff. So you just kind of cruise around, and every now and then you see something that's unique and that maybe you think has some potential, or it's something of your, knowledge um, base, that whatever it is, whether it's perfume or electronics or whatever, you can learn a lot by going to these shows and just seeing what's out there. And that's what I was doing. I was just cruising around to see what other, what kind of new things were there. And I saw a technology that I thought was pretty cool. Is an electronic device that's for like remote monitoring. And currently there's like a system. It's known as SCADA. That's what the current system is known as SCADA. And this guy had like a different technology that was different than SCADA. It didn't work off of like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, or like his technology was pretty cool. And he was from um, a pretty tech known area. I don't want to get too specific, and I'm not going to put the dude on blast or anything, but the first thing that I noticed whenever I walked up outside of the technology was just that his booth was like, he had a little corner booth, a little like 9 square meter, I think is what it is, booth. But he only had one side of it with, his advertising. The back three panels were just blank white. He didn't really have any kind of brochure. He just had his technology on the table, and himself. I got a business card from him. The business card was, really difficult to even understand what kind of business he was. He didn't have a WhatsApp. He didn't have a WeChat. And that's also, I'm gonna get into that too, and that's because this guy's a tech guy. Okay, like there's different types of people. Obviously, there's different types of people in this world, but there's different types of personality types that kind of have a trend, or you can compartmentalize almost what kind of people, tech people. All these guys are real techie. Maybe they're not like super great strong personalities, um, but maybe they're not really strong in business. They don't like the idea about marketing. They only see like the value in the product that they've actually developed. So it's somewhat hard to deal with those guys on business development, because they're not really, business development guys. They're technology development guys. So, yeah, sorry for the hammering there. Hopefully that's not coming through too much. Um, so I was trying to talk to the guy about his technology, because the main usage for that technology that he has, is really widespread. And I was actually really excited about his technology, because I know that this certain industry is looking for replacements for the current outdated stuff. So I was really trying to learn more about his technology. And then, it turns into you have to buy their software to utilize the equipment. And I've heard this before. I've seen other people try to use this business model in these kind of tech kind of products, and that's always the hardest sell. It's the customer is really excited. They've got a factory and they've got 10 pieces of equipment they want to monitor or something, but then they've got to spend $30,000 on equipment and software. That's the hard part. So I suggested to the guy, I said, hey, have you thought about doing a subscription? And he was like, a subscription? And I was like, yeah, you can increase your sales because people are going to buy more because they don't have to spend this large chunk of change just to get started with your equipment. And then you have reoccurring payments coming through, and then they're kind of basically tied in with you because they've already they've got your equipment. They need your service software in order to use that equipment. That's just what I'm thinking. And it seemed to kind of irritate the guy. um, I wasn't trying to irritate the guy. I was just talking to him about his technology and what I thought that he could do in different industries. He was talking about he's interested in the renewable sector because he wants to use it as a communication system in the renewable sector, which most of the equipment in renewable sector already has built-in communication systems that you can monitor remotely. And I just saw that he would have a lot more traction in the industrial sector, and that's what I was interested in. I was interested in doing some potential industrial sector market, and I wanted to try to see if I could get some kind of distribution agreement or a market sector agreement with him to do some stuff in a certain market sector. But instead, I didn't realize it at the time, but he got really sensitive about me having different ideas about his products. And and then I tried to reach out to him on WhatsApp, and he didn't have a WhatsApp. And so I just called him directly, and I tried to schedule a meeting with him, and he kind of just basically blew me off. And I was just really like, wow, this guy spent a lot of money to come out to this trade show. He's trying to sell his equipment. you know I mean, I've done a lot of trade shows, and I've done a lot of exhibitions. And I'll tell you, if somebody came at me as strong as I did of being interested in my products, or when somebody comes at me that's really strong, interested in our products, like that's the guy that I want. I mean, that's not intimidating to me. That's, wow, I want somebody that's got drive. I want somebody that knows the industry. I want somebody with new ideas and, can help take my company or my products to the next level. But this guy, like, he got offended. And it's, you know, just when you're going to talk to somebody, I guess, you got to really judge what kind of person it was. But I just thought I was talking a CEO to another CEO, and we were, talking about the products and different sectors that, this product could be useful for. I didn't say anything like down about his product or, put him down as a person or anything. But I know that these guys are sensitive. And I did further research, and I found that they got funding, and they just received, their first round of like pretty big funding. And that's the other thing that kind of gets me is I've talked to quite a few of these guys, and, they're just not committed on the marketing side of things because they're not marketers. They know they need to sell the product, but they're not marketing people, and they're really married to their creation and their tech. So if you're one of these guys, think about it. know who you are. It's okay who you are. Just, I would recommend, if you want to make more sales, you got to get a salesman, because trying to put yourself out there as the face and being really, I'm going to say it, sensitive about feedback from people is not going to help your bottom line. And for people that are going out there looking for tech, like, know who you're talking to, because maybe you are really interested in something. Like, I was really interested in this guy's technology, and maybe I just said too much, and he wasn't interested in my feedback, and maybe somebody else already told him this and he didn't like it and didn't want to do it. I don't know what the case is, but either way, it would have been great to try to work something out with this guy, but I don't think it's going to happen. Um, but anyways, that's it. Just wanted to tell a little story.